I get it. You've tried every diet out there. You've tried Noom and Weight Watchers and Whole30, insert whatever diet that is. And then you've really stuck to it and you've done really well. But then you gain the weight back. So then you tried white knuckling it, 1,000 calories a day, working out every day, pushing yourself. And that worked for a while too. But then, boom, it all came crashing back. You gained the weight back. You felt terrible again. And ultimately, you kind of just felt like a failure. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brant Bermudez. I'm the owner of Nutrition1st Coaching, where we help people get fit, get healthy, and structure their lives around a healthy lifestyle. Now, I know a lot of you out there, and I talk to people every day who have struggled with figuring out how do they lose weight, how do they get to a healthy body weight and body composition that they want to stay at, and then how do they live a life like that? Well, it's challenging. I will say that, but white knuckling it and trying every diet plan out there isn't the way to go. That's why I've designed a step-by-step guide that I'll give to you for free. All you got to do is just type a comment below. No opt-in, no email, no nothing like that. I'm just going to send it over to you for free. And right after this, I'm going to explain to you how I think you need 3 certain steps that'll move you towards that healthy lifestyle, the body you've always wanted, and how you can stay there and live healthy that way for the rest of your life. Now let's get into the video. Step number 1 in the last diet you'll ever need, and that's knowing where you're at right now. You have to know where you're at right now. This tells you how you've gotten to this point so that you can follow the next step. And with this step, you need to know not only how many calories you're eating, but you also need to know how many macros you're getting. Are you getting enough protein to support muscle growth or retard muscle loss if you're in a cutting phase? Are you getting enough carbohydrates to support your workout if you're working out hard and maybe you're doing it fasted? Do you get those carbs around your workout? Are you getting enough fat in your diet so you're supporting your hormones and you're making sure that your body is healing and processing all your lipids correctly? You have to know where you're at so that you can make changes in the next step, but the first step is always knowing where you're at right now and how you got to this point. So if you don't figure this out and you aren't super objective with this, then you're going to be lost trying to move forward. There's a lot of ways to do this. The most specific is going to be weighing and measuring your food and entering into an app like MyFitnessPal, where it's going to tell you exact amounts and you can really track everything you're eating and drinking, all your calories throughout the day, and know your macros so that you can move on to the next step. If you want this step-by-step guide that I put together for you, just leave me a comment below. No opt-ins. I'll send it over to you in Messenger. And this will help explain to you how to get through each of these steps to set this up on your own. Step number 2 of the last diet you'll ever need, and that's make an adjustment and be consistent with it. What I mean by that is you need to take step 1. You figured out where you were at and how you got there. Now you're going to make an adjustment, and you need to be consistent with that adjustment for probably several weeks, maybe even longer. But what you need to do is you need to be objective with yourself about that adjustment that you made. If you decided that you were eating too many carbs, so you cut them down to 120 grams of carbs a day, and you stick with eating 120 grams of carbs for 3 or 4 days, and then you don't really track it for 2 or 3 days, and then 3 or 4 days later you track it again for 2 or 3 days, and then 2 weeks goes by and you're like, gosh, it doesn't seem like anything's changed. Are you really even sticking with that and being consistent? And are you even being objective and tracking what you're doing so that you know you're being consistent with it? That can mean measuring whatever it is you're changing, but that can also mean just tracking it on a daily basis. Maybe you keep notes on your phone or a spreadsheet or something, and you go through and you make sure that you're doing that on a daily basis so that you're being consistent. It can take several weeks to really see some changes. And in my experience, a lot of people they stop just short of having to seeing some good results because they think, I'm not doing the right thing, but they're not being consistent enough, and then they're not giving themselves enough time to be consistent to allow themselves to see some of those changes happen. So this one is make an adjustment. I would say just pick one thing, be consistent with it, track it over time, and give yourself enough time to know if it's making a difference or not. Step number 3 of the last diet you'll ever need is to live your life in maintenance. What I mean by that is the majority of the time, the majority of your life is going to be spent maintaining your health, maintaining your muscle, maintaining your fitness, your flexibility, your stress levels. All those things are going to be mostly at maintenance. If you can figure out the good, healthy habits you need to really stay in maintenance, what I like to call those non-negotiable things that you're always going to have in place in your life, when you are in these more challenging phases, like maybe there's more stress at work, maybe you just had a baby, maybe you changed jobs, maybe you're going on a 3-week trip, who knows? A lot of things happen in life, but if you have those main non-negotiables in there that help you live in maintenance, then you're going to be in that healthy structure of maintenance, and you can always make adjustments from there. Maybe that requires going into a phase after that of 6 weeks where you're gonna go into a little cutting phase and you're gonna lose 6 or 8 pounds because summer's coming up and you just had a stressful time, or you want to try to put on some muscle, so you go through a little bulking phase in the winter, and then you go through a little bit more hard strengthening phase, so you need a little more sleep. But you have all those effects in your life, all those maintenance things that are going to put you in place. Some of those, for an example, are you're always drinking half your body weight in ounces of water every day. You're making sure you're getting enough sleep and good quality sleep. You're doing things to help mitigate or reduce your stress levels. Maybe it's that you're always eating vegetables at every meal, or you're making sure that you're taking some certain supplements on a regular basis. They're all different for everybody, but they're always going to stick to those main principles. And that's why I put together a guide that kind of helps you go through all these steps so that you know this will be the last diet you ever need, so that you can guide yourself through these things. If you want this guide, then just leave me a little note below. Tell me you'd like to have that guide. If you want help from a coach, set up a call with me. Let's do a call. I think that's really helpful too, to give you some of those baseline things that you know you can take with you. And if you work with me, that's always an ongoing program of education and giving you all the tools you need to be healthy through the rest of your life. But if you want that free guide, I don't need anything from you, no opt-ins, no nothing else. Just leave me a little comment. I'll send it over to you in Messenger. Thanks for listening. Thanks for making it all the way through this video. And I hope you like and subscribe to our channel, and I'll talk to you soon.